The Prometheus 82 arrives in reliable, reinforced packaging. No flashy marketing, just maximum attention to safety. Inside, everything is securely fastened to ensure the device reaches any corner of the world in perfect condition. All key components are already pre-mounted on the rig. A solenoid sensor for button latency and a dedicated solenoid sensor for stick analysis. At the heart of the system is the P82 control unit, featuring a dedicated sensor interface and two USB-C ports, one for power and one for PC connectivity. The kit also includes a link cable for the sensors, a spare cable in case the main one fails, and a bonus set of brackets for stick symmetry testing. Before we dive into testing, let's get everything ready. First, connect the power supply to the control unit using the lower USB-C port. For stable operation, you'll need a dedicated power adapter with at least 20 watts of output. Lower wattage units won't work, as they cannot provide a sufficient impulse for the solenoid. The upper port is for your PC connection. This handles all data transfer and signaling between the device and your computer. Depending on what you intend to test, buttons or sticks, you'll need to plug in the appropriate solenoid sensor. We'll start this test with the buttons, so I'm mounting the button module onto the rail. Note that for button latency testing, the rail must be positioned vertically. Now, let's move on to mounting the gamepad. Loosen the main clamping element on the rig to create enough clearance. Place the gamepad roughly in the center and secure it slightly, but do not tighten it fully just yet. Our main goal is to ensure the solenoid sensor is aligned perfectly above the button we are testing. A crucial tip: make sure the solenoid strikes the button at its maximum extension. If the sensor is placed too close to the button, it can skew the test results. Once you've found the optimal position, firmly tighten the gamepad's clamping element, both rail adjusters and the fastener for the solenoid sensor itself. Please note, do not over-tighten the clamping elements, as excessive force could damage the rig's 3D printed components. It is enough to stop once there is no more wobble and the entire setup feels stable and securely fixed. Now, connect your gamepad to the PC using any mode: wired, wireless receiver, or Bluetooth. I'll be using a wired connection. For this, there is a dedicated rectangular cutout at the back of the rig that allows you to plug the USB cable into the gamepad without any obstruction. Finally, link the P82 control unit to the solenoid sensor. That completes the hardware setup for button latency testing. Launch the Prometheus 82 software. In the console window, select the Gamepad Test button option. The program will then prompt you to choose the number of test cycles. For the most accurate and statistically reliable results, I recommend selecting 200 or 400 cycles. Once configured, switch over to the testing window and hit the Start button. During the test, the solenoid sensor will actively strike the button, measuring the latency for each individual cycle. This is a fairly loud process and will take some time to complete. Upon completion, you will receive data for minimum, average, and maximum latency, as well as the jitter metric. The results can be saved as a CSV file or uploaded directly to gamepadla.com for analysis. After entering the official gamepad name and the connection type, your personal page will open, where you can perform a detailed analysis and compare these metrics with your other tests. To test stick latency, rotate the rail into the horizontal position and mount the dedicated solenoid sensor. It should be positioned so that the solenoid can fully deflect the stick to 100% left, while maintaining a small gap between the stick and the moving plunger. At the peak of its travel, the stick must clearly press the sensor button. Make sure to manually verify the setup by pressing the back of the solenoid from the spring side to simulate the stroke. After that, connect the link cable to the solenoid sensor and launch the Prometheus 82 software. Select the testing mode, Gamepad, Test Analog Stick. Specify the number of repeats and click Start in the secondary test window. If your test doesn't start at this point, it might indicate that the gamepad stick is not being fully deflected. This occasionally happens if the gamepad is positioned incorrectly, or if the stick has a non-standard travel distance. To verify this, I'll launch another program called Stick Tracer, which allows us to see the actual software side deflection of the joystick when the solenoid is at its full stroke. As you can see, in this case, the stick is not reaching 100% deflection. To fix this, we need to adjust the distance between the sensor and the solenoid's moving plunger. Use a CR-VH2.5 hex key to move the sensor closer to or further away from the stick, depending on your specific situation. As a result, the stick should now reach 100% deflection, indicated by the green light on the right. Now, the test should proceed without any issues. Upon completion, just as with the button test, you will see the minimum, average, and maximum latency, as well as the latency stability jitter. Just like the previous test, I will upload these results to the Gamepadla.com website. This is your personal test page, and it is visible only to you. However, if you'd like to make these tests public, they must be submitted for moderation. To do this, simply fill in the blank fields and click the cloud icon on the right. But before you do that, it's important to run an additional polling rate test using the polling app. Once launched, you can find your gamepad's polling frequency just by rotating its stick. Once the test is finished, simply upload the results to the website, just as you did in the Prometheus 82 software. If you enter the correct gamepad name beforehand, it will be automatically selected in the menu on the test page, so you won't have to search for it in the drop-down list. Enter the polling rate used during your test into each field and select the operating system that was used for the testing. Next, enter the firmware version used during the test. Then, click the blue cloud icon to submit your results for verification. If your test provides value to the community, it will eventually be published on the Gamepadla.com website. That wraps up the latency testing guide. Now you're all set to get the most accurate data possible using the Prometheus 82. In the next video, I'll show you how to use the bonus bracket set for an in-depth stick analysis with Stick Tracer. As a reminder, all these measurements were conducted using the Prometheus 82 rig. If you'd like to build your own or purchase a ready-to-use kit, you can find the links to my GitHub and Ko-fi page in the video description below. Stay tuned for more.